Fire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
September marks Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. The entire month is set aside to reflect on the particular challenges facing children who sadly have cancer and their parents, family, loved ones. You should know that 300,000 children worldwide under 19 years old will develop one form of cancer or another this year, 2020. Over half will never receive accurate diagnosis, will never receive the treatment, will never get pain relief they need. This is deep. This is huge. This is quite sad as well. Now, Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is symbolized by a gold ribbon. So if you can put on a ribbon today or tomorrow or for the rest of the month, a gold ribbon, just put it on. Especially this month, September. Now, how much attention is being paid to childhood cancer healthcare in Nigeria? It's one question that I wish and I hope that we could find a satisfactory answer to. Oh, well, I am not doing this alone. Absolutely no, I cannot even handle it. I have a consultant pediatrician in the studio here. Dr. Nneka Nwobi is here. She's a founder, Children Living with Cancer Foundation. Dr. Nneka, a very lovely morning to you.
Good morning, Sheriff. Thank you for having us.
It's good to have you. And I also have a parent here who we would not like to mention her name due to her personal request. So we're just going to hear her voice. But if you want to watch online, we're live right now on Facebook and YouTube. So if you like to watch, go online and watch on Facebook and YouTube this morning. Madam, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. So we have different platforms through which you can be part of this show. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. Our Twitter page is also there at Nigeria Info FM on Twitter. You must add hashtag Morning Crossfire to it. If you've been through it or you have a relative that had gone through it or is going through it, I would like to hear of your experience on what you or your relative, your loved ones have had to go through or is going through. Share with us. You can also join the conversation on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805. That is 0809 597 5805. Lagos, welcome to this conversation. I will start with Dr. Nneka. So it has been reported that 2 out of 10 cancer cases in children are diagnosed each year in Nigeria. In fact, healthcare practitioners, just as yourself, are saying childhood cancer will soon be the next epidemic in Nigeria. What's your reaction to this, and how does it sound, or are we there already?
Well, I was just talking with
Madam.
mom outside, and she was like, it's like there are circles. This particular circle, a batch of parents and children come in, and then before they go, another batch comes in. Talking about her own experience.
Right.
When she was coming in, there were, a group of parents already there in the ward. So as they were going, they were on their last phase, leaving, while she came in. And of course, as she was going, her other parents would come in too with their children. So it's not People think that child cancer is rare. I don't think it is rare, especially when it happens to your child. Then you now realize that it is not rare. It is quite there. Unfortunately, we don't have the awareness that we need. Many parents are not there at all. Many parents are not aware that children have cancer, and because they don't know, they come in quite late. And when they do that, it's not there's not much that you can do.
Right.
Sometimes even when they find out early, we'll have children being sent to the village or to some other places where they are not known and things like that. It is quite disheartening.
Indeed. Now, my next question before I go to Madame in the studio here is, how much attention is being paid to childhood cancer, especially in Nigeria? Healthcare for childhood cancer in Nigeria. How much attention are we paying, or have we been paying to it?
I think practically none. Practically, actually, there's little or no political will to tackle this head on. I remember when we started the charity, I had gone to Lagos State and I was invited, to a panel to talk about childhood cancers. And on getting there, I saw my seniors, my teachers who now work with the government, and when I got there, I was like, okay, these are people that I know. These are people who know me, who would, speak up for me. And then one of them said to me, "Look, Neka, we are battling or battled breast cancer. We are on prostate and cervical cancer. Make you wait small." And then
you wait small.
Then he now asked me. He said, "How much do you know that the money that you use for one child that has cancer can be used for 5,000 children who have diarrhea?"
Oh my God.
Or malaria. So, we're not even there yet. So, maybe if you come back in another 3-4 years' time, then we can now talk. It felt quite sad for me, because I just said to myself that this man is talking because it is not his child that's involved. If it's his child, that one child would be as important or more important than that 500 that he talked about. So there is no political will. I'm hoping, although now when we have programs, yes, we have people from the ministry come, listen to us and all that, especially the months of February and September when we have activities, but what is being done, what would I wanted Lagos State to do, for instance, was to light up the whole of Lagos gold, to show that they are behind us fighting this childhood cancer scourge. Telling people, because the most important thing really is creating awareness. Elsewhere, children who have cancer have a better chance of survival because they come in early, the proper diagnosis is made, the appropriate treatment given, and so they have up to 80 to 90% cure rate, as opposed to our own that we have moved from 18, 20 to 25 now. It's still very, very poor.
This is quite sad. We'll come to the issue of policy in a moment, but let me quickly speak with our other guest, Madam, in the studio. Madam, again, thank you for joining us, and thank you for agreeing to speak to Lagos this morning.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Again, any question that I ask and you don't feel comfortable answering, just tell me you are not comfortable answering it.
It's fine.
Tell us about your experience. You have had a child who suffered cancer before.
Yeah.
Can you take us through that experience?
Okay. My son's diagnosis was made June last year.
Okay.
And then when it happened, basically the first thing you're wondering is you won't even know it's cancer. You won't know. It looks somehow different from, okay, he was actually diagnosed early. It looked more like sickle cell. And anybody that is very familiar with leukemia, he had leukemia. Anybody that is very familiar with leukemia would know that the first symptoms they have is pains on their joints and all that. So when he had the joint pains and so many other things, it was looking like a sickle cell thing, and we kept running several tests, wondering if he was sickle cell. And then I kept telling even the doctors then that, because it looked pretty healthy.
Okay.
But the pain was there, and we kept telling the doctors, he's not SS. This boy is AA. And it took a while for them to realize it. But when we knew, okay, how did we feel? Of course, like every other parent, we were shattered. My family was entirely shattered. It just takes you from ground 100 and sends you back to 0. So we were very shattered. We were wondering. I, for one, was saying, no, it's not my portion. And then I remember the consultant came in and said, oh, you're just in a phase of denial. And then I'm looking at him like, what's he saying? How can you say I'm in a state of denial? No, my child doesn't have cancer. And then when they had to make confirmation, I was in the lab with the doctors, and I was saying, check it. I want to be sure it's this. And
You went to the lab with them,
Yes.
just so you can be
yes.
very sure.
Yes. So, and then when we discovered, I realized, okay, I broke down. Myself and my husband broke down. We cried like babies, and then we kept crying. And a friend came and then told us, this child is not yet dead. Why have you put this child for death? Why are you crying as if this child is dead? Fight. And then we realized, okay, we're going to fight.
Okay.
And then when we put a word out there, the first statement I hear is, it's just a child now. How can he have cancer? Children don't have cancer. It's just a child. What did you do wrong? Nobody does anything wrong. Nobody knows the cause of cancer. No, it's not any parent's fault or anybody's fault. Their child has cancer. These things just happen. I don't even think there's a medical explanation for it. So when it did happen, we realized we had to fight. And we sat him down and told him, you have cancer. This is it. And then I remember when I was done having that very serious discussion, he sat down in front of me and it was very serious with me. When he was done, sorry, it's funny to me.
It's okay.
He told me, Mommy, that Pepsi behind you, is it cold? Can I drink it? So I laughed. And
He became aware.
Yeah, he became aware. So a part of me felt like he didn't understand it, but he did understand it. So we started chemotherapy head on.
Okay.
And then his own kind of cancer, he had to take high dose chemotherapy. So when other children were taking 2 vials of a particular chemotherapy, my child was on 48 vials.
What?
Yes, over a period
48.
Yes, over a period of 4 hours. And even parents in the ward then will come after me and say, why are you doing this? Why? Well, it didn't even matter. All we just wanted was a chance to live. So we didn't care how it was going to happen, but we kept pushing. We kept pushing and we kept motivating him that you can do this. You can do this. And the irony is, after he's done with the chemotherapy, he would dust himself off like nothing had happened to him. He would even eat and do well, unless when the chemo effect really sets in. So I remembered when he started losing his hair, he would even still go to school because he didn't want to feel different from every other child. He didn't want to feel different from every other child. He would go to school, and the school was very supportive. They knew his case, and then they were very, very supportive. They were very supportive. So he would go to school and do every other. He didn't even want to be different. He didn't want to feel like, oh, it's because I'm sick, you're putting me here. No, he didn't want anything like that. And then he kept fighting. He kept fighting head on. Even when when he lost the hair, people would say, oh, young man, your hair is gone. And then he would smile and say, oh, you don't know I'm taking chemotherapy. I'm taking treatment. When I'm done, my hair will grow back. Yeah, so it's very devastating. Then I had 2 kids, but my daughter had to go to a boarding facility. Okay. Because my husband had to be here for us and there for her. It was very tough.
I was going to ask what the effect that the toll on the system, on your family.
It's better imagined. Funny enough, 2 days back, I was asking my husband at night, and I was saying, when we used to go to the hospital every time and it was only you, how were you every night? And he would say, I used to break down every night. I would cry so much. And he
said he would cry.
Yes. And by the time he comes out looking very strong, I will even know that he's going through such a battle. And my daughter would cry so much that I just want to go back home. And then she was just, at that time, she was just 6 years old. She started rebelling in school. She started acting up. And this is a very excellent child. But she started fighting, and I sat her down and asked her what was the problem. And then I realized it was the fact that we were not available. She didn't mind coming to sit down with the hospital with her brother.
Okay.
So far, she has her family together in one place.
She just wanted the family together. She
Exactly.
wanted to be with the family.
Exactly.
So she
And-
felt left out.
Exactly. And then it just shatters you. I stopped working totally. So whatever was left was on my husband. And from friends, the church, support system here and there. So it was a lot of, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, when you have close family or foundations or relatives close to you, it's not only the child that is sick. Everybody is sick together.
The
Everybody's
whole
sick.
family.
The whole system is sick. Even the proprietors then who have to come to the hospital, there was a time the woman even entirely broke down.
Even
So-
from the school.
Even from the school. So it's like everybody is sick. Everybody is sick. This thing affects everybody. And the irony is, it's not only us. I'm just here to speak on for other people.
Right.
It's everywhere. It's like that place is just like a ghost town. It's lost. Nobody even knows that place exists. Like except the few foundations that come. They don't know. They don't know. And children go through a lot there. A lot of pains. Parents go through a lot. A lot. We've lost children for finances. We've lost children for several reasons. That I don't know if the government just paid more attention.
I'll come back to you. You can just rest a little bit. I'll come back to you in a moment because I'm particularly interested in the funding part. Because I had that conversation with Dr. Neka when we had this conversation 2 weeks ago, and we talked about how heavily this particular sad reality is having a very bad effect on the entire family structure and the funding of the family as a whole. We'll come back in a moment, Lagos. Let's take a few reactions from the people. Then I'll come back to my guest in the studio. It's 8:21 from our studio here. Before we go on our first break, if you are just joining me, we are discussing childhood cancer awareness. This morning we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, by the way. Nigeria Info 99.3. You can see my guest from that two platforms. You can also send me your tweets and let me know what you think about our conversation. The Twitter handle is at Nigeria Info FM. If you're calling me, is 0700 993 993 993. That is 0700 993 993 993. When you call, a lady will pick your call. She will just try get some details, your name and where you're calling from, and then she'll patch you through to the studio. Once you're into the studio, then I'll be able to speak with you. Dr. Nick, I will be talking about your foundation in a moment and what you've been able to do, how many cases you've been able to assist with your foundation, and the toll of the burden of this load that you're carrying. Dr. Nika. Okay, so let's get to the phone lines and take a few calls in before we go on our break. I think we have Tony online this morning. Tony reaching us from Ayobo. Tony, good morning to you.
Hello. Quadry,
Yes.
good morning.
Good morning to you, Tony.
My name is Tony, just like you have just said. I want to appreciate Nigeria Info for this opportunity to address the needs of children with cancer. I want to also commend Wemimo. I know she had a Christmas outing
Yes.
concerning this childhood cancer.
Her birthday.
She's a great woman. You are great people in Nigeria Info. I want to thank Dr. Neka for creating awareness, and I want to, appreciate the anonymous there. It could be any one of us through this experience.
Right.
Thank you for winning. I pray that our leaders will listen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tony, for your call. I will be sort of break right now at this juncture. I can't squeeze in one more call. Let's see if we can squeeze in one more. Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Oh, good morning.
Good.
Yes, Nigeria.
Yes, live Nigeria.
I call from Odu. I was hearing, practically hearing. I just want to pick your comment for the anonymous.
That's fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for calling. Free break. When we return, we'll continue our conversation with Mike this morning. Stay here on the Ring Fire until 3. We'll be right back in a moment.
It's very ironic that somebody who certificates stand on certificates and issued qualifications. How did you enter the university? Excuse that. If you did A levels, where's your results? That is the issue.
the state. It's decision time. House. Who gets the people's mandate? Join our election coverage studio as we minute-by-minute account of events unfold. Live coverage of the Edo Governorship 20 in Nigeria Info this Saturday from Senate Governorship Election 2020. Live Nigeria 7 a.m. this Saturday. Let's talk. Are listening to your number one for talk.
Your number one station for
99.3 Nigeria Info.
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Absolutely, you're still listening to the Morning Crossfire 99.3 Nigeria Info. If you are just joining us, you're welcome. My name is Sheriff Quadry, by the way. It's good to meet you. You get to tell me your name when you call me. Today we're looking at childhood awareness, because September of every year is the Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And I have Dr. Neka Wobi, founder, Children Living with Cancer Foundation. She's also a consultant pediatrician. She joins us on the show today. We have a parent here who's had to deal with, her child that, suffered through this predicament before. She joins us also on the show. But we'll not be mentioning her name due to her own request, but you can go online and watch the show online, because we're live right now on Facebook and YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3. You can also join the conversation on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM on Twitter. That's right, at Nigeria Info FM on Twitter. Hashtag Morning Crossfire to add to your tweet, because that is what I'm using to search. For tweets that are coming into the show. To save more children. Welcome to cancer at the moment. Welcome to ladies once again. Right, Dr. Nika, let me start with this round. So, with COVID-19 for some time now, how has affected treatment children living with cancer?
Effects of COVID-19 on child treatment so poor. Again, I'm talking especially from Lutz. Hospital.
Right.
And again, we have society. Is also in. At first, all treatment stopped. So it was only emergency I was treated.
Okay.
In see every other time. Had a child that was scheduled to have surgery in May, and he had that surgery so everything stopped. And whatever other cancer, they will keep going.
That's true.
So I think we didn't prioritize enough children, and that was because of the stop in treatment. It affected every aspect of treatment. Even the system now at Lutz is so different from what I'm used to. You get there, everything is just upside down. It's not the way it used to be before. As a matter of fact, somebody asked me yesterday, how do I get, the lady has her referral from Enugu. She wants to come in for treatment for breast cancer. And I'm like, hold on, let me ask the people on ground. Let me know how you're going to go
what exactly
about it.
is going on.
It's not how it used to be before, and it's not helping our matter at all.
With the weight that we've experienced in treatment of children living with cancer, are we directly saying that we might experience heavy casualty
Yes,
this year or next?
We did experience a lot of casualties. Many children died. Many of them have their cancers go to the next stage, or two stages.
They got bad very quickly.
Yes, because they were not undertaking any treatment. Although I think we started treatment around June or thereabout. But even at that, that with any cancer at all, immunity is low.
Very
so
true.
People are even afraid that these children who have cancer, if they come across anybody that have COVID, the consequences for them will be more severe than for the ordinary man on the street.
I'm getting a lot of questions here on the live Facebook stream. People are talking about the kind of food that parents feed their children, whether it has any effect on children coming down with cancer. Some are saying fast food, junks, processed food. Is there any relation between food and childhood cancer?
Well, as a matter of fact, for this month of September, for our programs, because we cannot have gatherings because of COVID and all, what we did was to have Zoom meetings, and we were having Zoom meetings every Thursday. The first Thursday, that's on the 3rd of September, incidentally, we had a functional health doctor. He's a retired medical doctor who ran the Mother and Child Hospital at Abuja. Okay. She taught us quite a lot of things. The very first thing is that you are what you eat. But then when you look at it, maybe not what the children eat as such, but maybe the environment that they are born into. The parents, because it's not only the mother that makes up a child, it takes the father and the child. What she talked about was, if your food is not as close to nature as God made it, then you're putting in poison into your system. And that poison that you put into your system would go on to manifest other things in your body. So she is of the opinion that, of course, we know that chemotherapy, for instance, is a huge poison. So the food we eat is very, very important. Having said that, nobody knows the cause of childhood cancer, because we have seen children who, the youngest I have seen was 9 weeks old. The youngest
9 weeks.
9 weeks. The youngest I've come across a parent who had a child that had cancer was 6 weeks. So when you ask yourself, at 6 weeks, at 9 weeks, what food was that child on? Mostly breast milk or formula. So definitely the environment that the child is born into,
Right.
the environment the parents are inside. Let's take leukemia and Hiroshima, for instance. Hiroshima was, where they had the atomic
Right.
bomb
Right.
and all that. After that atomic bombing and all that, the women that were the people that were there started giving birth to children who had leukemia. Now the children were in there when this atomic bomb exploded, but then their parents were there, and that altered some of their genes, which led them to have children who had cancer, who had leukemia. So their environments we live in is becoming more and more toxic. There is climate change and all that, but it's all due to human doing, so to speak.
Right. Dr. Neka, let's talk policy. I did say that I was going to ask you that question. The National Health Insurance Scheme is the NHIS, and we know it. NHIS covers some adult cancer, I think breast cancer and prostate, I'm not really sure, but it covers some. But we don't have childhood cancer on NHIS, or do we?
Unfortunately, I think Nigeria, look up on basically adults' health, not childhood, illnesses. We've come to places where they are talking about cancer, for instance, and the organizers who talk about childhood, about adults. As a matter of fact, I was in a meeting and we were talking about breast cancer, and then one lady gets up and says, let's talk about our husbands because we care. And then I was waiting for them to mention childhood cancers, and it wasn't mentioned. And so I got up and said, okay, fine, we love our husbands, but we hate our children. How can you talk about your husband without, thinking about your children? And this was a medical gathering, and that was when it dawned on them that, they've forgotten the children. So if this can happen in this setting, you can imagine what happens.
In medical setting.
In medical setting, you can imagine what happens, in government, who, because it is these medical people that should actually try to
push such policy.
Yes. So the policies for child cancer is not at all. The NHS and all that, I don't think will have anything. But then again, even the way our health insurance runs in this country, is it optimal? Is it the best? You have them telling you what medicines to give and all that, not giving the expensive treatment.
Right.
Child cancer treatment is expensive. It is very expensive. And most of these insurance companies would not want to go there because it's expensive.
Right.
You talk about the chemotherapy, the radiotherapy, the surgery, then the constant investigations that one needs to do before and after this treatment, because you cannot treat a child who has cancer and is down. You understand? The child must be optimal to take these chemicals and these poisons into the system, because the poison will kill the good and the bad cells altogether.
That's right. Now let's stay on the cost of treatment. Madam, tell us, how did you manage to maneuver through that? They cost 48 vials in 4 hours.
How did we manage to maneuver? I would say we didn't manage. We're still suffering it.
You're still suffering it right now.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is, most parents that their children are battling cancer, have battled cancer, or even in the future, I can tell you outrightly that most of them are going to be bankrupt.
Oh my word.
Because it's very expensive. Like I say, it's not, no matter how rich you are, childhood cancer has a way of humbling you. You would realize you have very little. So you basically have to rely on your community. What I mean by your community is your friends, your family, the church, the school.
The support system that you have around you.
Basically, foundations, your support system. Those that don't have very strong support system, I don't know what happens to them. And even with that, the support system most of the time in this part of the world, even just takes care. Exactly. There's very minimal they can do. And most especially will assist you very much when the child is alive. Once the child passes, it's like, the reason you are assisting you is, it's over. So you're practically on your own. So I, for instance, I stopped working shortly after diagnosis. Couldn't go back to work. So, and I'm still out of work. So you know what that means?
You're still out of work now.
Yes. So the implication is that whatever pressure is left on my husband. And I can tell you that he himself has spent so much on the treatment, and so many other people. So I'm just trying to say, childhood, like she said, I'm just buttressing, childhood cancer is very expensive. Very expensive. Sometimes you have to even run some tests. I remember the first sample we had to take to South Africa was about 450,000.
Yeah.
And then you have to this is not something that you do. It's not a one-off thing. You keep doing. And that's just one out of these numerous tests. You're running scans, you're doing so many things. You're buying drugs, you're buying medications. The chemotherapy drugs itself is not cheap. In our own case, how we were able to scale through the chemotherapy drug was an individual personally took it upon himself to supply.
Oh my word.
All true.
Oh my word.
And then our hearts is always grateful to this person. So I'm just saying, we were privileged to have that. How about those that are not privileged? Should I talk about oxygen? I don't even know. It's just so much. It's so much to talk about. This thing is very, very expensive. Very expensive. It even gets to a point whereby you cannot feed. You cannot feed because whatever you are saving up is for that child. Or sometimes when that child is down and the child is not eating, you cannot eat because your child is not eating. So you cannot even eat.
You won't be hungry.
You will even be hungry. I remember the few days for my son to pass, I couldn't eat anything. I was on my feet for 4 days stretch, doing oxygen, doing tests, getting blood. In fact, there was a campaign on social media out there that people should come in to donate blood. And then Nigerians have been very, very compassionate. People came in and donated blood in the blood bank and kept donating for him. Nevertheless, we also had people that had been very insensitive. I've had people say, no, don't let my child come near your child.
Oh my word.
He may contract it. My child may contract it. No. Or you have people say, oh, let me have the last selfie with him. I don't know whether I'm going to see him. Like, is he going to die? So let me just take my final pictures with this child. So, there are people like that. Like, all you need to do is to mention the diagnosis of your child to them. And then they just hang your child on the gallows somewhere in their mind. Imaginary, the child is dead to them even before the physical death. So, I don't know.
It's quite sad. I remember in school, a very upscale school that we had gone to come to give the signs and symptoms of childhood cancer to the students and the staff of the school.
Right.
And then the owner of the school says to me, no. I don't want my children to feel guilty, in their life, seeing these children who have cancer and all, because they are from the affluent side of the town, I don't want them getting in touch. And then what we were really asking for then was to give them the signs and symptoms of childhood cancers and then have something like a big brother, big sister system where because they were in secondary school, where the secondary school children can come read to the children in the ward, interact with them, give them some sense of belonging. We don't ask that they come with anything expensive. Come with an apple, come with an orange, come with a banana for the child that you have adopted as a junior one. Come to read, just so that the mother, the father, the caregiver can have an hour of respite. Just rest in the reception while you, the students, visit with the child. And they are like, no. We don't want our children exposed to this ugly side of life.
Oh my word.
And I'm like, it is life. Whether or not you expose them now or later, they would still be exposed one way or the other. And by giving them this opportunity, I believe it will build their character more than if you shield them from this part of life.
Dr. Neka, your foundation, how has the journey been? 17 years, right?
Yes, 17 years.
How has the journey been?
Very tough. Very tough. But I'm happy to say that, in as much as we were the first, we're having other charities spring up,
Okay.
and I pray that they stay, because the work is too much for us alone. We have people who, there's one lady, I think it's a lady, who every other month just puts a substantial amount of money into the account for the children, because we always ask for monthly donors, consistent donors who will
Right,
give
right.
1K, 5K every month, money that will not stretch them.
Okay.
But this lady does this consistently, and I want to reach out to her and say thank you very much. We really appreciate what you've been doing. But apart from that, well, I'll go back to COVID again. This COVID period has been very, very terrible. Although we don't have much children that we're catering for in the ward because of the COVID, but
Right.
we have some now. Like I said, since June, the ward has been open.
Okay.
So we still need to, what we do basically is try to create awareness like we're doing now,
Right.
and then give chemotherapy drugs. And then when we see a child that has, very dear needs, we try to create awareness and publicity for that particular child. The child I talked about that was supposed to have surgery in May, it was actually the public that made it happen. We paid over 1 million naira for the child's surgery, and I'm
Okay.
happy to say that the child is okay now.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
he's
good
gone
news.
home, and he came all the way from Ibadan. He doesn't
Oh.
live in Lagos.
Okay.
So we have children from all over Nigeria coming in to Lagos for treatment. Nigeria needs to have much more than it is doing now. The radiotherapy centers are not optimal. The one in Lagos is one of the biggest and best. Yeah, so you have people coming from
Everywhere.
Sokoto, from Enugu, from
Everywhere.
Bayelsa coming, so they are stretched. If the government can do such in the 6 geopolitical region, maybe that would, lessen the burden in Lagos. But I must say that, yes, it's been a very, very hard struggle for us.
How can people support your foundation?
Well, like I talked about the monthly donor, we are looking for people that would give any amount of money they have and have a standing order with their bank, so that it is not something that you forget.
Right.
With a standing order, every month that amount of money is taken out of your account into the system. Then we used to have parties for the children every end of month.
Okay.
We can't have that anymore, but what we want to do is to have Zoom party. We
Okay.
will be there. You come in and see what
To
we're
cheer
doing.
the children up.
Yes, and then when you want to celebrate your birthday, please just bring something, a carton of juice, biscuits, toys for the children in the world. It goes a long way for them, because it means that at that maybe 2-3 hours, they are not thinking of treatments. They are trying to have fun. They are trying to be like every other child. We have need for water in the ward. We have need for cleaners, for the ward to be clean. The amenity is down. We don't want it to be lower than it is.
It is.
Being in an unhygienic place. So we need people to pay for the cleaners.
Right.
We want to get our own private cleaners to make sure that the place is optimally clean all the time. Then, of course, things like provisions for the children. We need. Our ward actually is one of the best wards. In fact, it's the best ward in Lutz. People enter there and they're like, we didn't know that such a place existed.
Sure.
Every room they have AC. At a point, we had to get duvet for them.
Okay.
So we need, to have this duvet, the bed sheets cleaned outside, autoclave, so that
Right.
we don't have hospital-based infection, coming on this children.
Very important.
We have so many
Very
needs,
important.
really.
Right.
And then, of course, the chemotherapy drugs and all that, we need to have it sustained.
Is there an account for the foundation that we can give out at the moment right now?
Yes.
Yes, please
It's
do
an
that.
Access Bank account, and it's Children Living with Cancer Foundation. The account number is 0001180 That's the account number.
Access Bank.
Access Bank.
Children Living with Cancer Foundation
Foundation.
is the account name.
Yeah.
And the account number is 0001180 080-359.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Lagos, there you go. Because I have loads of questions requesting for that here that I'm looking at here. I hope that has been answered. We'll begin to wrap off right now. But before I go, let me wrap off with Madam here. Our champion has passed. When did he pass? June this year.
Yes.
How has his sister been able to handle it?
The irony is, I would say she's been strong for us.
Okay.
I don't know how this may sound, but shortly before he left, the last tangible statement he made to us was, "Let me go, I'll come back."
Oh my word! He said that.
Yes, he did, because he knew. You know, the irony is that most of them know they're going to die.
Yes.
They all know.
Yes. I
So-
can tell you stories of
So
the last
these children
minutes.
talk. When it's time, they know, and then they talk. So, the sister just believes somewhere he's going to come back. So I think that has helped her to cope very much. So even when we break down, she's there. Surprisingly, she's been very strong.
Oh.
She's been very, very strong, trying to hold on strong for us.
Okay, we have to go now before everybody breaks down in the studio. Madam, thank you so much for being so brave.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Dr. Nick, thank you again for
Thank
doing
you.
this.
And sorry, I want to give out a number that people can call
Oh, yes,
in
please.
case they want to have any questions
Please do.
answered. It's 080 33 156 908.
Okay, that's 0803 315 6908.
Yes, please.
All right. Ladies, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Sheriff.
All
Thank
right.
you for the good job you're doing.
Thank you too for coming.
And I hope we'll come again before September runs out.
Absolutely. We said that this month is dedicated to children living with cancer awareness. It's the whole month, and we're doing all we can, to make sure we create maximum awareness so that people can be aware. Again, ladies, thank you for coming around.
Thank you so much. And
Lagos,
thank
let's see
you,
if we
Nigeria
can
Info.
give out 10,000 naira on the show this morning. All right.
It is very ironic that somebody who has no certificate can stand out and comment on certificates or admissions issued by the premier university in Nigeria.
But the question is, how did you enter the university? Because you failed school sets. If you did A levels, where's your results? That is the issue.
The stage is set. It's decision time. Osadebe House. Who gets the people's mandate? Join our election coverage studio as we bring you minute-by-minute accounts of events as they unfold. Live coverage of the Edo Governorship Election 2020 here on Nigeria Info this Saturday from 7 a.m. Edo Governorship Election 2020 live on Nigeria Info FM 7 a.m. this Saturday. Let's talk.
So, Lagos, let's see if we can give out 10,000 naira today. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, what's your name, please?
Alao Bashir.
Alao Bashir.
Yes, sir.
Have you won before on Just a Minute?
No, sir.
Okay, all right then.
This is Just a Minute on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Are you ready to play, Alao?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's play the game.
This is Just a Minute.
What month is a designated Childhood Cancer Awareness Month?
September.
All right. Nigeria Info is how many years old this year?
6.
Okay. Who anchors the program Pinpoint on Nigeria Info?
Pincoin.
Who? Yeah,
What?
Pinpoint.
6.
Okay. Name the two leading contenders in the coming Edo Guba election.
Ize Yamo and Godwin Obaseki.
I'll give it that. Okay. What is the full meaning of INEC?
Independent National Electoral Commission.
All righty. Name two places you can get Nigeria Info's mobile app.
Google Play Store and Apple iOS.
What is the full meaning of the socio-political group NEF?
National Executive Council.
Mention the name of one of my guests this morning.
Dr. Ineka Nwobi.
Allow Bashir. Just stay on the line, okay? Stay on the line. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions correctly this morning. Stay on the line, okay? I think Alau's call has been retrieved from my end here. All right, that's the show we've got for you today. Jimmy Disu is next with Daily Digest. Stay here, Lagos. Thank you all for joining the conversation today. Please, you've heard the number you can call and the account number of Children Living with Cancer Foundation. Please do what you can to lend your support. You can follow me on social media, on Twitter at Sheriff Quadry, on Instagram at Sheriff Quadry, and on LinkedIn at Sheriff Quadry. Let's keep talking. Good morning to you.